In this second session, we are going to look at how cultures might possibly differ. We will focus on differences in how they deal with time, space, relationships, and communication based on the insights of Edward T. Hall with examples from Jean Bodin. People from different cultures use different time concepts. Some people learn to think about time in a linear way. Time is like a line. They use a monochronic time concept. People with a monochronic time concept pretend that they can look into the future and control time and actions. In practice, this sort of time concept is much like a Gantt chart. Actions are planned and will be executed in a sequential way, one after the other. Time slots are connected to actions. Deadlines are predicted. Other people learn to think about time in a different way. Hall calls it polychronic. People cannot look into the future and plan and predict time and actions. For them, actions do not take place in a sequential way, but many things happen at the same time. Time can be cyclical, which is pretty much symbolized in Asia by the yin and yang symbol, representing the fact that everything is interconnected and happens simultaneously. Or time and space are one and are not really distinguished. People tend to do things in a synchronic way. Time concepts can be reflected in the language people use. In some places, people tend to speak in terms of before and after. In other places, people think in terms of upper and under. Last week in Chinese is literally the upper week, and next week the under week. Differences in time concepts have huge influence on how people act. People with a monochronic time concept will have a meal in a sequential way. Starter, soup, main course, dessert, coffee. Dishes follow one another in a linear way. People with polychronic time concepts will put all the dishes on the table at once and enjoy a variety of flavors simultaneously. If you are invited to a dinner where all the dishes are shared simultaneously, the chances are high that a meeting in such an environment will not have a neatly sequential order, but will follow a different dynamic. Hall also studied how cultures differ in their use of space. He coined the term proxemics to describe how people deal with space and physical distance between people. He studied territoriality in the animal kingdom and describes in what way, why, and how animals keep distance from each other. As human beings, we have similar mechanisms. Different cultures develop different preferences in their use of space. Some people like to come close. Others keep more distance. Ways of greeting can express how cultures deal with space. Some bow to each other from a distance. Others hug and kiss each other easily. The distance that people keep can change over time as the relationship becomes deeper. Eye contact, or the avoidance of eye contact, can be part of keeping distance. In many cultures, avoidance of eye contact is a sign of respect. This picture shows how people keep a certain distance from each other while waiting for a bus. Proxemics is also about how cultures look at individuals and groups. In the left picture, the focus is closely on the individual. In the right one, the individual is part of the context. In real life, the individual would not be alone in an empty environment, but would often be surrounded by other people. These pictures, taken in Mumbai, India, show a reporter on the streets. Within seconds of taking up her position, she is surrounded by other people who come very close to her. This picture was taken on a train in India. The handles to hold onto show how close people can come to each other. Proxemics is not only about human interaction, it is also about how people design and organize their houses, offices, cities. How people organize space around them reflects how they look at the organization of human relations. In some cultures, each individual will have his or her own room, with clearly defined strong walls. In others, one open space is shared with a group of people. In this picture, we see an office building in China. The boxes on the left are designed for a certain level in the hierarchy of the organization. The doors of the offices on the right reflect a higher hierarchical level. The hierarchy in society is reflected in the layout of the offices. This room, set up for a lecture, reflects the hierarchy of the audience. The most important people are seated at the center in the front. Systematically, the whole audience is arranged according to a hierarchy. The name cards are there to keep everyone in place. The stools at the back are for the lower levels. Edward T. Hall also studied how people communicate with each other. He distinguishes low context and high context communication. The picture here shows a meeting where people sit around the table as equals. They interact as equals. Communication is open and anyone can give ideas and share thoughts. The focus is on the task to be performed. This is low context. In high context communication, the focus lies on status, on the relationship between the people. It is more important who is in the meeting than what is on the table. High formality with big chairs, keeping people far apart from each other, shows that this is not a context where concrete content can be discussed. This is about formality.